NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the J All Day Sports Show. I'm finally back at the home base in Los Angeles, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys about the playoffs. We got 6 games in the wild card round, 2 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and 1 on Monday night. I am so excited to go over each and every one of these games and give you my predictions for the wild card round for the 2025 playoffs, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Let's get into it. All right, NFL fans, I just want to say thank you so much for all your support this season. We just crossed 13,000 subscribers. It's all because of you. Let's kick off the playoffs with the Saturday games, guys. I am so excited for these games. We got 2 AFC games. LA Chargers versus the Houston Texans. That's where we're going to start. The Chargers are dealing with some injuries, guys. Gus Edwards, Josh Palmer, both dealing with some injuries. And then their offensive line is also dealing with a bunch of injuries. Slater and Pipkins. We'll have to see, check the injury report closer and closer to the game and see who's in and who's out. For the Chargers to win this game, their defense is really going to have to show up, right? The Houston Texans have really struggled offensively all year long. They're having trouble running the ball effectively. The offensive line is one of the most penalized groups in the entire NFL. Tunsil, one of the highest paid left tackles in the game, is up towards the top in penalties. I mean, it's been a shit show for the offense. I don't know what's going on with CJ Stroud, but this offensive line has not been good, so that means he has not been good. They've also been dealing with a ton of injuries, right? Nico Collins was hurt earlier in the year. Tank Dell just got destroyed a few weeks back. Stephon Diggs, he's hurt as well. So the injuries are piling up in this game. This game's going to be really, really close, man. It could be anybody's game. But the LA Chargers defense leads the NFL in points for the defense, right? So in order for them to win this game, they're going to have to get a few takeaways, maybe a pick six, a scoop and score, something like that. Listen, the Chargers are 6-3 on the road. So they're not one of these teams that is really good at home and can't play on the road. Harbaugh gets the guys ready to play on the road. On the flip side, the Houston Texans are 5-3 at home. The record's not super great, but their performances have been a lot better at home this year, right? Both of these teams offensively have been very inconsistent, especially the Chargers, right? The run game has been so-so. Ladd McConkey and Justin Herbert have been great, but outside of Herbert throwing the ball to McConkey, the offense isn't great. So, who do I ultimately think wins this game, guys? I'm going with a better coached team, and I think that's the LA Chargers, right? The Houston Texans are so penalized, man, and they've been struggling on third down. And if you lose the penalty matchup and you're turning the ball over, you can't run the ball effectively, especially the last 6 or so weeks, they haven't been running the ball great. I'm going with the Chargers in this spot to get a road victory. The Texans just haven't been playing good football all year long. They've been kind of grasping at straws, right? They're only averaging 20.5 offensive points per game. That ranks 18th in the NFL. It's not this high-power, high-flying offense of last year. A lot of that has to do with injuries. It's going to be Nico Collins and Joe Mixon. We'll see if anyone else can step up. But because of that, I think this game's going to be very low scoring. The over-under's at, 42.5, guys, right? So the under's in play for me. I'm going with the Chargers to get a road victory. Next, let's move on to such a great game. Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens. They split the season series, right? The Baltimore Ravens kicked the snot out of them a few weeks ago, and then, what do you know? The Steelers won a very, very tough game earlier in the year. The Steelers are 5-4 on the road, not necessarily a great road team. And then the Baltimore Ravens have just been playing really good football on the defensive side of the ball. The first 10 weeks, this defense really struggled. But since then, and since they moved Kyle Hamilton out of that kind of hybrid spot where he was playing in the slot, he was playing linebacker, he was playing safety. Since he moved to safety, just playing safety, they've been so much better of a defense. I'm just going to go over some of my notes. TJ Watt is banged up. And the one thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers, We have to check on Zay Flowers. He got hurt in that game. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to play in this spot. But the Pittsburgh Steelers cornerbacks have been horrific all year long. That, along with not being able to get a pass rush because TJ Watt is not 100%, that could spell trouble for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens in this spot. The one thing that concerns me a little bit is Lamar Jackson's track record in the playoffs, right? He has just as many MVP awards as he does playoff wins, too. That's not a great thing. You don't want to have the same amount of MVPs as you do straight up playoff wins. 2-4 in the playoffs. He's got a home field advantage in the spot. The over-under's at 10 points. Lamar Jackson's got to get this done, man. He hasn't been great in the playoffs, and when they lose, they average like 10.5 points per game in the losses. So he either plays really well or really, really bad. I think we're going to get good Lamar Jackson in this spot. Keep your eye on that Zay Flowers injury, because if they can't get the passing game going, it's really going to slow down the run game because the Steelers are going to stack the box and force them to throw a little bit. But I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens to get a home victory in this spot. Now, let's move on to the Sunday games. We got 3 games on Sunday. Let's kick it off with the Denver Broncos versus the Buffalo Bills. Right. Josh Allen versus Bo Nix. Josh Allen versus a rookie quarterback. The Denver Broncos defense is great. They play some of the most man-to-man coverage in the NFL, over 56%. But the Buffalo Bills have a lot of weapons. Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Amari Cooper, James Cook. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills in this spot, guys. And it's not probably because of the reasons you might think. This high-flying offense is because Josh Allen doesn't turn the football over ever, dude. Listen to these stats, guys. Absolutely crazy. The lowest sack rate, 2.6%. 4th lowest interception rate, 1.1%. And the 5th lowest fumble rate at 0.8%. The dude just takes care of the football, man. And when the play breaks down, he can do things with his legs. Another thing, the Buffalo Bills, undefeated at home this year, 8-0. I just don't think that ends here. I do like what Denver's building, right? I do like Bo Nix, Pat Surtain, Cortland Sutton. I think they have a good core of guys. They're playing really, really solid defense. But the Buffalo Bills, going up to Buffalo, it's going to be freezing cold. It's going to be insane there. The Buffalo Bills fans, some of the best fans in the NFL, guys. Broncos got really good fans too, man. I'm not going to lie. But I like the Buffalo Bills in this spot. I think they probably cover the spread too. We'll do a spread picks video later in the week, but I'm just doing straight picks for you guys. Buffalo Bills, get it done over the Denver Broncos. Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds! All right. For the Packers, huge injury. Christian Watson looks like it's an MCL, ACL situation. He's done for the year. Jordan Love hurt his elbow. He's been banged up a lot this year. Losing Christian Watson is a big deal for the Green Bay Packers, and Jordan Love is definitely not going to be 100%. The Eagles rested their starters last week. The biggest question mark in this game, will Jalen Hurts, not playing the last few weeks, hurt the Eagles' chance of winning? He had that concussion a few weeks back. He hasn't played since. They didn't play their starters last week. It didn't matter. They still beat the Giants. I love the Eagles in this spot. I think the way they match up with Jalen Carter and that strong defensive line, I think they're going to be in Jordan Love's face all day long. I think they're going to sack him multiple times. I'm saying a strip sack. I think an interception happens. Without Christian Watson, he's like that big, true X wide receiver, right? Can take the top off of defenses. Big, tall, physical guy. But the Eagles have really good corners. Quinyon Mitchell, Darius Slay, Cooper DeJean in the slot, that kind of hybrid guy. I think the Eagles dominate this game. I don't think the Packers score over 17 points. I love the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. And Jair Alexander, he's not playing in this game. So how do they cover? How do they cover A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith? Dallas Goedert just came back. He actually played in that game last week because they wanted to get his legs under him a little bit in that spot. So I love the Philadelphia Eagles in this spot. I think they match up really well with the Green Bay Packers. They beat them earlier in the year in week 1, but that was a long, long time ago. These teams are very different, so that game's a wash. I don't really put that game into consideration. Maybe a little bit of tape study, but for the most part, these are two totally different teams. The Eagles are riding really hot right now. They're at home. The link is going to be absolutely crazy, so I'm rolling with my Eagles to get a home victory. All right, NFL fans, the next game on the slate, Sunday Night Football, Washington Commanders, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game is probably one of the hardest to predict. For me, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers want to establish a run because the Washington Commanders have one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL. By far and away, the worst rush defense out of all these playoff teams. And there's only 2 teams in the whole NFL that were worse this year than the Commanders stopping the run. Tampa Bay needs to get Bucky Irving involved. We'll have to see. Is Cade Otton going to play in the spot? Is Antoine Winfield going to play? That safety is very, very important to stop those deep balls that Jaden Daniels is going to be gunning for. Can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, whose defense hasn't been great this year, stop Terry McLaurin and Zach Ertz and Jaden Daniels? This is going to be a really exciting game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they almost lost that game. Minus the fourth quarter where they had 14 points and the Saints didn't score at all. The Saints are winning that whole game, guys. And the Saints are a terrible team. So I'm going with another upset. I'm going with the Washington Commanders to win this game. I like Dan Quinn, how he schemes things up defensively. I think he's going to make things a little confusing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? The only thing that concerns me a little bit is who in the world is going to cover our man Mike Evans, right? We'll have to see. Is Lattimore going to play in this spot? I'm not 100% sure. He's been banged up a lot as well, but this game's going to be very close. From a betting perspective, guys, I would stay away from this game. This is the game where, like, anything can happen, right? One turnover here, one turnover there. And I love Baker Mayfield and the juice that he brings in the playoffs, man. They came out in that first round and kicked the Eagles' ass last year, right? So you know what? I'm flipping my pick right here live with you guys. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. Baker Mayfield is a seasoned veteran. Jaden Daniels is going to have some butterflies being a rookie quarterback in the playoffs. Man, this game is so tough. But you know what? I'm flipping. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I think Mike Evans has a huge day, and they're going to be able to establish the run with Bucky Irving. I love that spot for Bucky Irving and Rachaad White to have a big day. Let's go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get a big win at home and move on to the next round. And then Monday Night Football playoffs in the Wildcard round. Minnesota Vikings, who got the brakes blown off of them by the Detroit Lions on Sunday Night Football. What the hell happened? I'll tell you what happened. Anzalone came back, and they were able to get pressure on Sam Darnold. They were in his face. They were hitting him, pushing him around, being physical with him, and just totally putting it on Sam Darnold, man. When they were kind of making the pocket smaller and smaller and smaller, Sam Darnold did not play well at all whatsoever. But the LA Rams have given up over 6,000 total yards of offense. Woo! This year. That's an insane number, guys. They have been playing a little bit better lately with the help of Jarrett Verse and that young defensive line. But their secondary is trash. I think the Vikings carved them up in this spot. And another thing that really concerns me about the Rams, listen to this. Last week versus the Seahawks, they didn't play their starters. That game didn't matter at all. But offensively, the 3 weeks prior, 12 points, 19 points, 13 points. That's very, very concerning. They played earlier in the year. The Rams won 30-20. So it was earlier in the year, so, you can probably throw that out. Vikings kicker, Richard, has been not great. 10 of his last 16 kicks he's made, so that's a concern. So if this is close, yikes, the dude hasn't been great. The Vikings are 9-1 in one-score games. I think the Vikings can dominate this spot because I think that the Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp offense hasn't been good the last 3 weeks that they played, right? Throw out last week, that game didn't matter, they didn't play. But the 3 weeks prior, 12, 19, 13 points. They're going to have to score more points than that because I think Sam Darnold's going to want to get the ball out quick, and Justin Jefferson, they got to scheme it up where we keep routes under 15 yards and stop looking for deep shots down the field. Just tip away at this very beatable LA Rams secondary, right? That's why I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings to win this game. All right, guys, that's my picks on the Wild Card Round 2025 playoffs. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm closing in on 15K, only a little bit more, guys, so make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll catch you on the next video.